Hey guys, what's up? It is week 163, and first I have a little bit of it's kind of a correction. I don't know why I actually watched the Shriek Show edition of Ichi the Killer. I have the new Welgo one. I completely forgot it even existed, so I watched the old remaster. I really wish I would have watched the new one, because I guess it's leagues better. So, yeah, I'm an idiot, so... If you're wondering why I reviewed the Shriek Show, or you're like, is the Shriek Show better? No, I just forgot that I had the Welgo, or it even was released. But yeah, I do have it, and I probably, when I rewatch it, it'll eventually be the Welgo. But yeah, let's hop into these reviews, and the first one is from Severn Films, and this is one that I'm glad that they released. It is The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. This is actually, I think, Sergio Martino's first giallo, and he did 6 giallos in the 70s. There's also, or I believe Your Vice is a Locker Room, and Only I Have the Key as a giallo, or considered a giallo. It's a pretty good movie. I always like that one. But he also did All the Colors of the Dark, Above Suspicion, or the one of the Minor, which is a really long name. And then there's The Case of the Scorpion's Tail. So like, this guy is pretty much one of the kind of quintessential gialli directors, and I know that Arrow put a few of his movies out, and Severn put a couple of them out recently, All the Colors of the Dark. So I actually had never seen, this was like the only giallo of his I hadn't watched, which is crazy because it's one of his most famous. It's got a very familiar cast in here. Of course, we got Edwidge Fenwick. Can't have a giallo without Edwidge Fenwick, right? So she's the star in this movie. It also has George Hilton, who's in, what he's in a slew of spaghetti westerns and some other Sergio Martino giallos. It's got Ivan Rasimov in here, who's also kind of a Lenzi and Martino kind of staple. And then we also have, what's the guy's name? Mendoza, or whatever his name is. He's a Spanish actor. You guys will recognize him as the Rasputin-like character in Horror Express. And I'm pretty sure he's in The People Who Own the Dark too, which is a really cool movie, also with Paul Nash. So I had a great cast. This one right away, right when I put it in, I was like, this is one of the coolest giallos I've seen in a very long time. Because, a lot of times you watch a lot of giallos, and they're always good and entertaining to me, but they don't stand out. This one is definitely going to go down in history as one of the most memorable and one of the better giallos I've ever seen. And I've heard about it for years, and it's always had a nice, reputation and everything. So... the first thing that came to mind is all these Italian movies have wonderful scores, and this one, it doesn't have the most deep score. It doesn't have like a huge elaborate score, like a bunch of different tracks and everything like this, but it has this one track, and it almost is like Fenwick's a theme music, or like a motif, and it's like directly correlated or tied in with her emotional vice, I guess I'll say, and all her like past traumas and everything. And every time it plays, it puts you in her mindset, and I feel like he gets sucked into it. But basically, the plot of this movie here is Edwidge Fenwick's character, Mrs. Ward. She's married to like a diplomat who travels a lot, and it's kind of an unhappy marriage. She at one point had an affair with Ivan Rasimov, who was very abusive, and she has a strange vice, which is she's repulsed and attracted to. It involves blood, so there's that history as well. And then more recently, George Hilton kind of came into the picture, and he's kind of like this playboy who just inherited a bunch of money and is cousins with Edwidge Fenwick's best friend. So there starts kind of having an affair with Fenwick. So that's the plot. Meanwhile, there's a sex-crazed killer going around killing prostitutes and women of the night and everything like that. And Edwidge Fenwick starts to be stalked and tormented by who she thinks is possibly John, who is Ivan Rasimov. But is he the sex killer, or is the sex killer stalking her? So it becomes this kind of like gaslighting, crazy thing at certain points where throughout that there's definitely something going on, but there's twists and turns, and you're definitely trying to figure out who is responsible for the killings and who is after Edwidge Fenwick. Like I said, the score is tremendous, and there's these great moments where she'll just be going about her day and something will trigger a memory, and she'll have a flashback with Ivan Rasimov beating her, and these really kind of surreal moments, which they do in All the Colors of the Dark. And this one has a lot of similarities to that, but it also has similarities to Your Vice is a Locked Room and Only I Have the Key, with a lot of the kind of weird sexual stuff like BDSM in that movie and stuff. I feel like there's some sexual fetishism in this one as well. I love George Hilton in this movie. He's one of those guys that he's an Uruguayan actor. I can't say he's from Uruguay, okay? And he's one of these guys that just pops up in so many of these movies, and like I always recognized him and noticed him, but this time I was like, you know what? He's actually really solid, and he has a good look to him. So this is the kind of the first time I really appreciated him in a movie, although I always enjoyed him. Ivan Rasimo just looks like a crazy person, and to me he's always a crazy person. You know, he's an Eaten Alive, and he plays the Jim Jones kind of character, so he's always really good at being scary. I think he's in All Colors of the Dark too, being like the cult leader. I'm pretty sure he's the cult leader in that one. So this one really entertained the hell out of me. The deaths are pretty solid, but that's not really what attracts me to it. It attracts me as the psychology of Edwidge Fenech and her going through and actually Kat Ellinger does a commentary which I loved, and she talks about a critic who gave it a poor review, and she reads the review, and the critic is like, it's so obvious what's going on, and I'm like, I must be an idiot because like I couldn't pin what was happening. But after you watch so many of these giallos, you never go with the sure thing, or you never really, you might predict one thing, but there's like 5 or 6 other things that are going to happen in it. So I'm like, I'm just going to not try to predict these anymore because it always gets crazy, and it's more fun to just let it play out. And I literally thought this one played out pretty well. This one's loaded with a lot of features. Like I said, the Kat Ellinger commentary, which I really enjoyed. She's a big proponent of Sergio Martino. She even wrote a book about him. She goes into a lot of detail about that stuff and brings up, you know, the first Final Girl and, you know, giallos and everything like that. And it's a lot of stuff we've heard before, you know, and she even mentions that, like, I have to go through the giallo again and explain what it is from with the Edgar Wallace titles and everything like that. The paperbacks, the yellow paperbacks. But still, it is interesting. And like I said, she's one of my favorite people to do commentaries. I've always enjoyed her commentaries, and I really think she does one of the better jobs in the business and opens up my eyes to a lot of things. And like I said, this one, it's like the giallo story's good and the twists are good, but the psychology in this one is just really, really entertaining. Also, there's some really good shots. Of course, all these movies, they do it in one shot, so they only have to light for one scene, but they always use that. It's always so innovative. Like, of course, you know, just simple stuff that I like that doesn't cost extra, but it's just entertaining. Like, you'll see like them and Edwidge Fenech and like a mirror will open and you'll see the other character, like her friend, and it just like the camera will move and go around. It's just good stuff like that. I've always enjoyed that kind of stuff. But the Blu-rays packed with stuff. It has an interview with Sergio Martino, an interview with Ernesto Gedaldi, who's the screenwriter who's wrote for about, he's probably written like 100 of these giallos. And then it also has an interview with George Hilton, who I believe has just recently passed away. Introduction with George Hilton, an archival interview with Edwidge Fenech, and of course the commentary. So it looks great. It sounds great. Also comes with a soundtrack, and like I said, this is one of those songs that just was embedded in my head right after I watched it. And yeah, it's just a good one. Great ending too. Just flew by. It's one of the most enjoyable giallos I've seen in a very long time, and one of the best probably. If somebody were to ask me like, what are your top 5 giallos, I would definitely give this a shout out. I'm ashamed I haven't seen that. I don't know why. I have literally seen all 5 of his other 70s giallos, and this is the last one I hadn't seen. It is kind of weird. But there's an old DVD from Mia Communication that was under the title Blade of the Ripper. I think there was an old Shameless DVD, if I'm not mistaken, and there was a Shameless, No Shame DVD, and then a Shameless Blu-ray that was an import. So yeah, I imagine that Severance is the cream of the crop, though. So yep.
I promise you an afternoon of mad stimulation. You mentioned blood earlier. Certainly it's true that blood has a strange effect on her. It excites and repels her at the same time.
While that's very, very titillating, it's also very transgressive when you think about the time and the place these films were made.
Oh, George.
Scendiamo da una ininterrotta catena di assassini, il cui amore per uccidere era nel loro sangue, come forse è nel nostro.
donna è stata uccisa mezz'ora fa, vicino all'aeroporto.
Un'altra donna uccisa?
Sì, è sempre a Rasoiati.
Ho paura. C'era qualcuno nel garage, ha cercato di uccidermi con un rasoio.
Tu mi lusinghi, Julie. Davvero pensi che io sia capace di tagliare la gola a tante donne?
Certo è che il sangue ha uno strano effetto su di lei, come di attrazione e ribrezzo insieme.
L'odio è un bel sentimento, violento, rovente, come e più dell'amore.
Le farò provare ebbrezza, paura e grandi tuffi al cuore.
Naturale. Volevi andarci a letto e la paura di Jean ti ha fornito la scusa.
Ho avuto modo di vedere che lei è un'amante deliziosa, con deviazioni molto interessanti e insospettate anche dal suo onesto marito.
Niente unisce di più di un vizio in comune.
Perché pensa che sia lui l'omicida che stiamo cercando?
Perché non prova a controllare l'alibi della signora Ward?
Forse è da me stessa che devo fuggire.
Okay, the next one here is a Patreon pick from Chris Rivers, and this is a Netflix movie. This is Horse Girl. And this one interested me for sure. This is a weird one. And it's kind of comparable to a movie from the 2002 TPUTS, the Podcast Understairs Summer Series I'll be reviewing later on in this episode. But Horse Girl. Okay, here we go. I watched this one a little bit ago, so bear with me. This one, it follows this girl who's like kind of obviously, she's a bit different, maybe reclusive, doesn't really, I don't know how to put it. She's definitely an odd character, might have some, it just seems really reclusive and shy and everything. She works in a fabric shop and she's obsessed with horses and this horse that she used to ride and everything like that. One day, she's like, her friend hooks her up with somebody, and I can't remember the trigger, but basically what happens is something triggers her, and after that, she starts to lose moments in her sleep, and losing time, and everything gets really kind of disoriented for her, and she starts to kind of get this weird idea, like it literally feels like a schizophrenic, because her you find out she had like some past like family problems and everything like that, her mother, her grandmother, and you definitely point to schizophrenia, that there's definitely something going on with her mental state and schizophrenia and everything like that. She starts to develop these theories that she's actually her grandmother and she's traveled through time, and meanwhile she's like dating somebody, and it's just like, but what I really liked about this movie is this character, like throughout the beginning, I've really bonded with her. I felt bad for her. She seems sweet and nice and innocent. And as it goes on further and further, as she like kind of descends into her madness, if you will, you just really genuinely feel sorry and concerned for her. I think the performance by her is tremendous. I thought she was great in this. I really enjoyed it. I think that her acting and the way it develops is just really interesting. And also, there's this really sad moments in the movie, like really depressing, like she's obsessed with this certain horse, but it shows you what happened with the horse and other people that were affected by it, and it's just like, oh man, this is really just kind of hard-hitting and depressing. And when movies kind of dive into like mental illness and things like that, it also interests me greatly. But it starts to do some weird things where you think there's something else going on possible, and it leaves some doors open where I really ought to watch it a second time and kind of guess maybe it really isn't as it seems. There is maybe some supernatural elements or science fiction elements in here as well. But I could recommend this one fairly strong, and it's a brave performance too. It kind of shows full frontal nudity in here, and I did not expect something like that in this movie. This movie, to me, it felt kind of like almost, I don't want to say tame, but it felt, a little bit more straightforward and maybe safe. But after a bit, it definitely I realized it's not necessarily safe at all, and it was doing some things that I didn't expect it to do. But those kind of whole movies where somebody is just kind of losing their shit, and you really don't know what to think, and it leaves it kind of open-ended or open for interpretation, kind of interest me. But great lead performance. Paul Reiser pops up in here, and he had a really nice small role, but seemed like a genuinely nice guy. And there's just some crazy moments, like I said, where they make you second guess what you're thinking originally, which made it very entertaining. Horse Girl, would recommend. Pretty good. It's on Netflix. You can watch it in like 4K. So yeah.
Happy birthday! So what are you gonna do tonight to celebrate?
I think probably I'll just go out with some friends from my Zumba class.
You deserve to have fun.
How have you been?
Been good. I've been going by to see Mom and going to see my horse.
Hey, Sarah.
Hey.
Brian's new roommate is single.
Hi.
I'm Taryn. I really like your dress.
Like your shirt.
There's something so exciting about you. You're a lot of fun.
You deserve to have fun.
Hey, you're,
Oh.
Sarah.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
And what is it that you're experiencing?
Been having a little trouble sleeping. Finding myself places, and I don't know how I got there.
You have nothing to be afraid of.
Do you believe in alien abductions? People always said that my grandma was so crazy. Now I think that she wasn't crazy at all because I'm feeling it.
Sarah, do you know what happened to the wall? Those scratches?
How old was Grandma when she started acting like...
Why? Are you...
Sarah, put the phone down. Sarah, put the phone down.
I can hear the future.
Sarah?
I'm just really scared. You're safe, I promise you.
This is crazy.
Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense.
Sarah.
I know that it sounds crazy, okay? I know it sounds really crazy, but it just feels really real.
Okay, the next Patreon pick is from Nick Mua, and he picked Jet Ketchum's The Lost. This one came out in 2006, and it stars Mark Center, and there's small roles by Aaron Brown, and Ruby LaRocca, I believe, is in here. But Michael Bowen and Ed Larder also star in here. This is based off the Jet Ketchum novel, which I have read years ago, and I remember really liking this novel. This and Cover, I think, an off-season were my favorites of his. I thought those ones were really strong. R.I.P. Jack Ketchum. He passed away, I think, a few years ago now. But, yeah, first and foremost, I want to say this Blu-ray is bare bones. The old DVD is not. The DVD has deleted scenes and a commentary and everything like that. So if you want interested in seeing more on it, get the DVD and maybe the Blu-ray, get them both or whatever. But, yeah, The Lost. This is based off a true serial killer or serial murderer, or however you want to put it, who murdered, I think, 3 or 4 people years back, and his name was Charlie Smith, or Charles Smitty, Smith. And yeah, they called him the Pied Piper of Tucson, and that's why this movie opens up with I'm the Pied Piper and Mark Center walking, and it's a beautiful tracking shot, and they bring that back at the very end too in a really amazing way. But this is a great movie for me. I think that the heart and soul of this one is a lot of the performances in here. I adore Mark Senter's performance. He is such an ego maniac, narcissist, piece of shit, but he's great. And like it opens up and it just posts this thing that says this is a story about Ray Pye. They called him Ray Pye because he was a serial killer in real life, the Pied Piper, so Ray Pye. It works really well. But they say, here's a story about Ray Pye who used to shove beer cans in his boots to make himself taller, you know, because he's such a narcissist. But anyways, he's this kind of older, in his 20s loser that hangs around with a lot of high school students and takes advantage of them. And years back, he's hanging out with two of his friends that are much younger than him, and he decides to kill these two women that he spots in the woods, who he calls lesbians. So he kills them, and then after that, it's kind of covered up. But there's these two cops that were always on the case, Ed Larter and Michael Bowen, who are still kind of, Ed Larter's retired, but Bowen's still definitely trying to figure out the case and everything like that. And they really think Ray Pye was responsible for it. But essentially what happens is Ray Pye is living as a hotel, kind of working in a hotel for his mother and everything, and just selling drugs and doing petty crime and sleeping with as many women as he can. And he gets infatuated with this rich girl and everything like that, and he spills his guts about everything. And pretty soon Ray Pye's world comes crumbling down, and he kind of loses his grip, the little grip that he has. So that's pretty much The Lost. There's some really interesting stuff in here too. Like I said, Ed Larter is like playing a 60-year-old man, and he's dating this young girl who knows Ray Pye, and like I said, they're all kind of intertwined. And her father's actually played by Richard Riley, which is a great performance in here too. But there's some really good dialogue. Especially by like Michael Bowen later on and stuff when he's like putting the pressure on Ray Pye. It's just tremendous. And I wish Mark Center would have been a big star, because he started off with so much promise with this, Red, White, and Blue, Cabin Fever 2. He's in that Wicked Lake movie, even though it's a tiny role, and he's in Starry Eyes. So everything he was in for a while, I was like, man, this guy is always so good and always so intriguing. And then like I'm pretty sure he's still working, but I lost sight of him, and I haven't really seen him pop up like he should have been. But this performance is just one of a kind thing, where he's like kind of an Elvis guy and everything like that. And you could tell that Jack Ketchum definitely put some of his own like influences in life in the novel and the real case and everything like that. So, because he said he was a big Elvis fan growing up and everything like that. But no, this movie is brutal. The true story, obviously, not as many people got killed here, but the way they shoot violence in this, I just really enjoy it. I think that it's, I shouldn't say enjoy it, it's really effective, which makes me disturbed, which makes me give credit to the movie, and then somehow in a weird, gross way, I enjoy it. You guys know how that is. But the opening, it's just this calm moment with these two people talking, and all of a sudden, you hear the bullets hit, and it's just boom, you hear the sounds, and the way it's edited, and the sound design, it gets your adrenaline going. It scares the shit out of you. And like the end violence too is just very matter of fact when people get shot. Like loud and just and abrasive and just scary. And it works. They changed the ending of the novel, because if you guys have ever read this novel, the ending is pretty freaking grotesque. Not grotesque, but in detail about some prison experiences and everything like that. And never forgot the end of the novel, to be honest. But it's a great novel, and it's actually a really good adaptation. And this is produced by Lucky McKee, and it was directed by his childhood like high school friend that made movies together. They did the original All Cheerleaders Must Die together, and all sorts of things like that. So, and Jack Ketchum on the commentary tells a story about how he met Lucky McKee, how he gave him a copy of May, and it took him forever to watch it, and after he watched it, he really enjoyed it, and everything like that, and they kind of hooked up, and Lucky McKee went on to work on Red, although I believe he was fired, and all sorts, and The Woman, of course. So, McKee and Ketchum obviously started a relationship and everything like that. So, that was very interesting to hear about. But anyways, I think The Lost is super effective. I think that a lot of the female actresses in here are really good too, and I like the characters, and you've seen how Ray manipulates everyone, and just such a piece of shit, but so good at it too. Just a very good movie. I've always liked this one quite a bit, so that's The Lost.
Hey, come on, baby, follow me, I'm the Pied Piper, follow me, I'm the Pied Piper.
Do you have a cigarette? We had a murder a few years back. 2 girls, campers. You know what we ought to do? We ought to pop them.
What?
Ray wasn't our main suspect. He was our only suspect.
This is my son Ray. He's my assistant manager. Bates Motel.
Hello, Mr. Pie.
Listen, the best way you can handle Ray Pie
Hey, Ray.
is to stay the hell away from him.
Maybe he came on to one of those girls back then and she said thanks, but no thanks.
Get your stuff and go home.
Fuck out of here! That's why they're both of them dead.
What is he gonna do, murder me in the laundry room in broad daylight?
Good and Jennifer, I want you both to meet Catherine.
I'm a good girl.
Some of these women are animals.
Wanna play a little game?
What kind of game?
I'll ask you a question. You have to answer it completely and truthfully, no bullshit. What's the worst thing you've ever done? I like you and we've had a good time together. I just don't think we should keep on seeing each other.
You want to be able to like fuck other guys? Is that like all the fuck you're saying? Fuck!
What worries me is what does a guy like that do when he finds out that he's been betrayed?
I fucking had it with every one of these fucking cunts! Ray's just so crazy. Boo. You staying there, you hear? Fuck, you guys don't know each other, do you? Hello? Sally, Jennifer. Jennifer, Sally. Now get in the car, Jen, before I kill your fucking ass in front of the neighbors. I'm having a great time.
Okay, now we're going to hop into the summer series, the podcast Under the Stairs, years 2002. You guys are wondering what this is, go back to the last show or the show before that when I did 2001. But the first one that was picked for 2002 is Gore Verbinski's The Ring. And I had seen the original Ring, and surprisingly a little bit ago for the first time, you know, because I said Japanese ghost stories when they came out weren't really my strong point. I wasn't really interested in them, and I kind of was sleeping on a lot of them. I finally did watch The Ring, and I thought it was really freaking good. But this remake, you know, I was always kind of like, oh, American remake of Japanese movie back then. I'm even less interested. But this director went on to do like A Cure for Wellness, and you can tell these movies share a lot of visual style. They have like, and normally I would hate this, but they have like a blue tint to them. But the blue tint's kind of directly correlated with the rainy look of both those movies and the watery look of both movies. And I feel like all Japanese ghost stories, and some of the remakes, I guess, too, have a lot of rain in them. Obviously, Dark Water this year, and I feel like One Missed Call, there's a lot of rain. Just all these movies are just saturated in dampness and gloominess and everything like that. And like I said, I think Pulse has a really unique look that they just didn't drain it of color. They just lit it really well. This one, I think, does drain it a little bit of color, but the cinematography is really fantastic. And I will admit that I do really like the original Ring, but I think this one is just as good, and I really wasn't expecting to. And it does probably help that Naomi Watts stars in this, and seeing like Naomi Watts' early career from like Mulholland Drive the year before and how good she was in that, and then coming into this movie and doing a really good job, and then I think she was even in Down, the remake of the Lift, a couple years before Mulholland Falls. It's like Drive. I mean, it's just kind of amazing to see where she started and everything, and kind of the movies she chose. But I think she's really solid as the lead character in this. If you guys don't know the story of The Ring, essentially it's about a reporter whose niece dies in a strange way, and she starts to dig into what happened because her sister asked her to. She starts to look into it, and it leads her to this videotape, and all the people that watched the videotape died 7 days later and everything, and she starts to dive into it and realizes it ties into this little girl, Samara, who was possibly mistreated and had some sort of powers and everything. It leads her back to this island and everything. I don't want to spoil everything about it, but it's definitely a good detective kind of mystery, finding out what the hell's going on. The actual tape on here, it's a little bit different, I think, than the original Ring tape, but it's really kind of effective and scary as hell when Naomi Watts watches it, and when she shows her ex-boyfriend the tape too, who's into video and film and everything like that. He says, it's kind of art filmy, and it's funny because it is art filmy, but at the same time it's like art film class shit, but it's also scary as hell when you take it and put it in the context of the movie. But there's also, I don't remember if this was in the original point too, that in the remake, like everything that's in the tape will see in the 7 days before they die. So basically it's a race, before, race, beat the clock before they die and everything, and they got to figure it out. But it is a long film, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well done. Minimal CGI too, and I really like the camera work. I think that the big wide shots are beautiful. I think that the transitions, they'll cut a tree and shit, and there's a wide shot. It just looks good, man. I don't know what it is, but I think this one dated pretty well, and I didn't think it was. I wasn't really sure how it would be, but it's just much better than expected, because I was like, I'll like the original better, but I liked them about the same, and I was impressed with it, to be honest. I thought the acting was top-notch. Brian Cox is in here, which is always a plus. And I do enjoy Samara in the original better. I think she's a little bit more effective, the little girl. But besides that, I think that they're up to snuff at the same level. I do think this one's easier to follow. And I don't know if that's, kind of I wouldn't say a language barrier, but the change in cultures and everything. I think that the remake is a little easier to follow. But I really like it. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really well done. And I like that they open that kind of... they do have some little meaning in here too, maybe a message that says like, what's up with the media wanting to take someone's tragedy and make it the world's tragedy? And I was just like, that's kind of really deep in a way, but also it directly ties into what Samara wants to do. So I like that. So the Ring remake, really solid stuff, really good. I watched it on Amazon Prime. It's on there right now in HD. So I don't think there is a United States Blu-ray, but I'll buy one when it comes out for sure.
Before you die, you see the ring. 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 You saw it.
Okay, the next one from the 2002 summer series is Lucky McKee's May. And yeah, I saw May originally when it came out, and I didn't remember much about it. I remember having good feelings. So, I remember liking it. That's about it. This stars Angela Bettis and Anna Faris, Jeremy Sisto, James Duvall. Who else is in here? And Borat's assistant from, Borat movie. But okay, so I put this one in, and it opens up with this this tragedy of a little girl. She has this cross eye. And right away you get some psychology on her. Her mother just telling her that you have to be perfect, and she has her put this eye patch on, and she has no friends, so she makes these dolls. And that directly ties into May and screws her up for life. That's pretty much the setup and everything like that. So May's directly screwed up for life from her mother's thing. So she still has this doll who's her first friend that she made, and this kind of pale thing she keeps in a case and everything like that. And this movie has a lot of dark comedy. There's a lot of these dark comedy beats where at points you feel horribly sorry for May, but then you kind of laugh at what she does. But then by the end of the movie, you're 100% thoroughly repulsed by her actions. So essentially, maybe this is comparable to a female maniac. that makes any sense to anybody, because it feels like, you know, Joe Spinell in that movie is like having this love life and relationship with somebody, but he can't stop from going crazy. But this is more about, you know, what somebody would do after they lose a loved one, but her just complete misunderstanding of anything that a human would have. But anyway, she's infatuated with certain body parts of people, and she kind of comes to the conclusion that there's no good holes, there's only good parts, and that kind of sets her kind of, you know, her MO in what she does. So May kind of like at one point has a breaking point where she loses the person that she just started a relationship with in Jeremy Sisto. And she starts to take body parts from other people, you know, and everything like that. But Anna Faris is in here as like a lesbian coworker that starts a relationship with May, and she's absolutely hilarious in here. She's really ditzy and just goofy and funny. And James Duvall has a really weird role in here, but I really like this one. I think it's really good. I think there's these moments of like super dark comedy that are twisted and everything. She starts to like volunteer her time at like this blind place for blind kids and help them out and everything. And at one point, like, this glass case breaks with her doll in it, and she completely loses her mind. She's trying to pull it away, and all the kids are trying to get the doll, and all the glass is everywhere, and everybody's crawling on it and everything. But there's just like, in the very beginning, she gets a contact to fix her lazy eye. And then later on in the movie, she has to take it out because she has she doesn't understand she has to clean her contacts or anything. They get infected, and she takes them out and everything. It's just like kind of she reverts back, and it's just like another breaking point into her snapping. But they also kind of film the deaths uniquely. Like they'll have her go kind of like, you know, she killed them, and they don't show anything, and you're like, what? And then they'll cut back seconds later where they'll show like a flashback of her doing the deed and everything. So I thought that was effective. And there's some visual good things in here, you know, the blood going in the white milk and everything. I feel like I've seen that numerous times. I feel like they do it in the Stenhell Syndrome, a lot of red on white in that movie. But I think May's effective. I think it's got a great performance from the lead in here, and the ending is a mind fuck, and I love it. I love the ending. The ending makes up for a lot of things. I think it's just like, yeah, this is just crazy and insane, and I just like it. I like how they do it at the ending and leave it a little bit open, because there's definitely some weird things going on. Like, is May possibly like a Carrie-like character because like the glass always is kind of cracking, or is there something else going on, an outside force or something? But you know, May definitely, you know, something maybe supernatural about her, but really good one. I watched this in HD. I just bought it in HD on Amazon because I didn't want to watch the DVD. It was like $10 or $8 or something like that. So yeah.
You know how when you meet someone and you think you like them, but then the more you talk to them, you see parts you don't like?
Everyone always thought May was different.
Jesus, what are you doing? Relaxing. Doesn't it hurt? Ow! You crazy bitch!
But really, she was just misunderstood.
I need a real friend. Someone I can hold. Don't be mad.
Then, one day, May met Adam.
Hello?
The boy I saw today is different.
So what do you do, May?
I work at the animal hospital.
When I left for vacation, my dog had 4 legs. You can't sew it back on, can you?
I could. Some people think it's kind of gross.
I love gross.
Really?
And she thought he liked her just the way she was.
Oh, I'm bleeding. May, this is weird.
You like weird.
Not that weird.
But May's new friend turned out to be just like everyone else.
I'm sorry things didn't work out between us. It just didn't feel right.
So many pretty parts, no pretty holes.
So May decided to make a friend of her own.
I need more parts. You have a beautiful neck. I love your tattoo. Can I get a few more measurements? I love your hands. You have really beautiful legs. You're gonna look perfect.
May.
Okay, the next one is Neil Marshall's Dog Soldiers, which I have not seen, the 2002 one, in a long time. So I popped in the Scream Factory Blu-ray, which I had, and I know everybody's like, man, this looks horrible. I know the elements were lost, but I gotta say, this looks like shit. This looks horrible. And I know like they didn't really have the master to remaster it and everything like that, but it's an awful looking movie. Not movie, but it's an awful looking release. I'm sorry. It has a bunch of features on there which are nice, but interviews with everybody involved. But it looks terrible. So this is essentially kind of a Siege, Night of the Living Dead style movie with soldiers. A bunch of soldiers doing a training exercise in the wooded location, run into the special force guy who claims something crazy attacked them. And of course, we all know it's werewolves, so dog soldiers, and then we just know the movie and the plot and everything to cover. So essentially, he's been all messed up. They decide to hide out. This lady kind of finds him. They decide to hide out in her kind of log cabin. They have no communications to the outside world. Some of them are hurt and killed and everything, and they must defend this cabin and save their lives and from the werewolves outside. The werewolves look freaking awesome. They're standing werewolves, kind of like the Howling, and they're big and hunched over. Really, really great werewolf designs. The movie's kind of shot crazy. It's really sporadic and edited and almost like kind of a frantic military state at times with people talking. And the opening of the movie took me a long time to get used to it because when it's cutting so fast and handheld, it feels just really kind of sporadic and erratic, I should say, erratic. And it just kind of really is hard on the eyes. I didn't love the way it was edited and cut together in the beginning. It's just kind of hard to know where you're at all the time. And that might be on purpose, but it's also hard to know any of the characters until later on. But they also use a lot of, I believe that is kind of realistic dialogue between the soldiers and how they use terms and everything like that. And they also seem to be bonded, and they also seem to know each other, and they work well together, and they actually have a genuine like for each other and everything. The characters Spoonie and Joe are both really great characters. I can't think of the guy's name. He's in I think he's in Soldier with Kurt Russell, and he's also in Event Horizon. He plays like the sergeant. I always like that guy in every movie he pops up in. He's really good in this one as well. But yeah, so essentially it's just a Siege movie, and the werewolves are attacking. They had kind of some other storylines in here about, possibly certain people being connected in certain ways, which are okay. I don't think they're horrible. The special effects are really good. Like I said, the werewolves look great. The gore is solid. There's bloody things. There's lots of guts falling out. But the movie's also comical. There's lots of funny lines in here. The character Joe always complaining about not watching the football, and it's a tremendous scene. I know my friend who used to box. He used to train boxing and everything. He loved the scene in this movie where Spoonie actually squares up with the werewolf and he starts boxing him up and shit. And it's like, this. He was like, this is legit. I think like how he did it. And that actor actually knew boxing from the commentary and everything. So that's a really great scene, a really awesome scene. This is a pretty good movie. This is really fun. This is really entertaining. We don't really get that many werewolf movies, and we don't get that many movies where like there's military characters that are actually kind of really established. And if you listen to the commentary and everything and all the actors talk about the movie and Neil Marshall talk about the movie, Neil Marshall loves movies, and he just doesn't love horror movies. He mentions stuff like, The Wild Bunch, and I believe he mentions like The Great Escape, and just lots of classic war movies that are just, tough guy kind of man's character movies and everything. But, there's like some tenderness to his characters and everything, and some friendship and a bond between them. So I think that he does pretty well with this one. And I think it's a really good, entertaining movie. And he would go on to do The Descent a few years later, which, as far as I remember, is a freaking masterpiece. And I feel like he went so much further with The Descent than this one. But I do think Dog Soldiers is an effective, gory, kind of fun Siege movie that is worth checking out for sure. It's a good one. And it was fun revisiting, except I wish that the Blu-ray looked better. I think that maybe I was a little harder on the movie than I should have because it looked so bad in the remasters. And it's very unfortunate that the elements are kind of lost.
One of the most explosive, brutal, and purely enjoyable horror debuts since The Evil Dead. Genuinely frightening. Jaws, Aliens, and Predator with a werewolf twist. Absolutely brilliant. Thrilling. Mind your tongue! Exciting. Scary.
I don't scare that easy.
And funny.
I'm sold.
A horror film with bite.
You are.
Sold! I'm in the closet! A bitch of a werewolf movie. Waited! Dog Soldiers. It'll blow your house down.
Okay, the next one here we have is Dark Water, which I had actually never seen. So I popped this in, and yeah, this one, it follows the story of kind of she's a single mother, and she has like, is it a daughter or a son? I think it's a daughter. So geez, I can't remember if it's a daughter or son. But she's kind of going through a custody battle, and she obviously has some problems, some past problems that are brought up and everything like that. So she moves into this big kind of apartment complex that's kind of mostly abandoned, and there's just water leaking everywhere here. And it just right away sets the tone, the title, Dark Water. And like all the other Japanese ghost stories, it's rainy, it's gloomy, it looks just like them. So this one I actually really enjoyed, mostly because the ending is so crazy and impactful, and it has like a complete 180 where the movie actually stops and you're like, it's over. And then like it does like a fast forward, and you're like, oh, wow, I can't believe you came back just to hit me in the stomach that freaking hard. And they really do. And that's probably the strongest part of the movie, but it makes it so much different. And I shouldn't just jump to the ending, but that's the thing that most impacted me most about this movie, to be honest. But essentially, the water's leaking from the ceiling, and she's starting to lose her grip on her job, her sanity, and possibly lose the custody of her kid. Another person, a lawyer, kind of comes in and starts to help her out with everything like that. But of course, there is a ghost in this this apartment, and there's a reason there's water, and there's a reason it's directly tied in with water, and it's definitely affecting, kind of coming after the child and her at the same time. And I really don't want to spoil the ending here, but like I said, the last act is tremendous, and it makes up. I don't want to say the first two acts are bad or boring or anything. They're set up, but the third act, it really pays it off. There's some solid creepy moments in here, but again, it's kind of a mystery where you're just trying to find out what happened to this ghost, why this ghost is here, like kind of like the Devil's Backbone. But like Japanese ghost stories, like The Ring or even One Missed Call, the ghost, although they seem like they want you to figure out the mystery, your life is still in danger. It's not like hey, I'm a good friendly ghost. The ghosts are very hazardous and dangerous at the same time. And even The Ring, I don't think Samara is really a good person or really trying to help you out at all, even if you discover the obvious that what happened, even after they find her in the well. But the stuff, it's kind of, again, like they're different in their ghost stories. There's definitely a mystery to it, but even if you solve the mystery, you still might be fucked. Like I said, the ending in this one's really great. I like how this one looks. Nice location. The apartment's kind of creepy, and the elevator. They do lots of stuff with it. But like I said, I don't have much to say about this one, but I do think it's very effective and well made and a good one. Not the strongest of 2002, but I mean, I would listen to an argument about it being one of the strongest for sure too. So Dark Water. On the disc, there's some features, of course. I didn't get a chance to check them out. I'll take a look for you guys. There's Ghost, Rings, and Water, a brand new interview with director Hideto Nakata. Family Terrors, a brand new interview with author Koji Suzuki. Visualizing Horror, brand new interview with cinematographer. I'm not even going to try with that one. And archival interviews with actresses and the theme song artist Shuga. And the original making of documentaries. So yeah, it's got some nice releases, nice features on there, and I didn't get a chance to check them out, although I should have. I thought it looked pretty good and sounded good. But yeah, that is Dark Water.
うちの部屋の天井から水が漏れてんですけど。
建物自体はだいぶ古いですから。
今日はどなたが迎えに来てくれるんですか。
離婚なさったそうですね。そういう家庭の子供にはよくあることなので。
今日はお父さんが迎えに来てくれるって。ママは？
母親がこの子を置いて急に家を出て行っちゃった。ご存知ありませんか。2年前に女の子が行方不明になった事件。河合美津子ちゃん。
このぐらい水の底から
And the last from 2002 this time around, I actually watched it on Amazon in 4K, that's right, is Resident Evil by, is it Paul Anderson? Paul W.S. Anderson, I want to make sure I get that right. The director of Event Horizon and Mortal Kombat, which I think are both better movies than Resident Evil. See, I'm kind of shocked that this one was picked for 2002. So I remember seeing this one in theaters, and the story behind it with George Romero originally hired to write the script, and I actually read that script, and it was just basically Resident Evil with all the characters like Barry and Jill and Chris and everything like that. And it was just a run through a big mansion and then fighting a bunch of creatures and everything. And I was like, oh, that's fine enough. Needed more zombies, but it had everything kind of from the movie, kind of from the video game, so why not? This one, it came out after The Matrix. And any movie that kind of came out after The Matrix that has any action is just like, has that stink about it. We basically, the plot here is Umbrella Corporation is doing secret experiments in an underground facility that they call the Hive. Well, I think it is called the Hive, yes. And there's kind of mansion above it that is kind of a secret location, entry point. So essentially something goes wrong in the Hive, a terrorist attack, somebody breaks the T-virus, and a whole lab gets shut down. Similar to Warning Sign from 85. And everybody's trapped in there. Of course, they're all turned to zombies. And they send in a special team to go in and figure it out. Everybody that's kind of in the vicinity has lost their memory. There is somebody passed out on the subway train that gets them down to the area. There's, of course, Mia Jovovich, who's been passed out and she doesn't know, and a police officer. And all of them have lost their memory because that's what the drug does. So the SWAT team of 7 guys ends up taking them all down with them instead of leaving them up there, and just handcuffing them for later. They take them down into the Hive to try to figure out what has happened. Basically, their job is to shut down the Hive, to shut down their security systems, and figure out and try to rescue anyone that's down there. The things that bother me about this movie is it has no balls. I feel like it doesn't have any guts. I'm sorry. The movie starts, it's a zombie movie. There's no real flesh eating. There's people getting bit. Nobody gets ripped to shreds. CGI is dated pretty poorly, pretty shitty, to be honest. Some of the practical stuff works pretty well. The characters are pretty dumb. They don't really think very well. They just do dumb shit. I don't care. I know we don't live in a Romero world when we're in this world. Whatever. But you shoot a guy 30 fucking times in the chest and he doesn't die. Try shooting him in the head just once. Why not? Why the hell not? But it's just, they're dumber than the guys in Hell of the Living Dead. But you have, like I said, 10 characters, and they decide to kill 4 with lasers. This is a zombie horror monster movie. You kill 4 of your characters with lasers. Why? Why waste so many people like that? And that is kind of a cool moment, to be honest, but to me, the best character dies in the moment right there. And after that, we're kind of stuck with bland. I mean, Mia Jovovich is good, and I enjoy her. But besides that, it's just bland city. Michelle Rodriguez is in here being super tough, and she's kind of entertaining. She's like the human version of Raphael, basically. So, I don't know. This one just kind of bores me, and it's just kind of, it just doesn't work for me. Just like I said, people get pulled into elevators, and they're supposedly ripped to pieces by zombies, but yet they come back fully intact as a zombie. It's like, you said they're eating people. If you pull a guy into an elevator with I don't know why I'm being so nitpicky about this movie, probably just because I don't like its style in the first place, but you pull a guy into an elevator and he gets ripped apart by 50 zombies, there's not going to be much of him left, right? But no, he's fully intact. You just throw some blood on his mouth, and he's a zombie now, but no, zombies just don't eat you for some reason. They're supposed to eat you, but they don't eat you. And that could probably be a complaint about 95% of zombie movies, to be honest. You never see anybody walking around with just barely a head because they would have been devoured. But still, when you're alive and you get pulled into an elevator, and it's just it also cuts away. A lot of cutaways, a lot of cutaway deaths in here. Just like I said, and the main monster is, what is the thing, a licker or liker or whatever the hell they are, the things that crawl on the walls, which I don't really have a problem with, but I don't know. It's just the characters are boring and bland, and half of them look identical with the same same fade haircut and gelled hair. Just like I said, my favorite character was the guy, Colin S. I don't remember his name. He's in Alien vs. Predator as well, and he gets cubed too in that one. He dies the same way. He's also in Punisher Warzone, where he actually is really fun in it, and I enjoy him in that movie. But man, this one's just such a boring movie to me. And there's some fighting and some stuff like that, but it's just so dumb. People just do dumb things, and it's annoying, and it's just you had the game. All you had to do was take one. It's one of the greatest horror games of all time. All you had to do is it's right there. It's right there. Just take it and make that. And then, like I said, they have like moments that like shout out George Romero, but knowing he got fired from the movie, it's just like, it just seems tacky as hell. Like, especially the end with the newspaper that flies up that says the dead walk. It's like, man, go fuck yourself. You fired this guy, and then you have the nerve to be like, throw a shout out to him in there. It's just like, okay. Maybe he didn't get fired. Maybe they just hired him to write a treatment or whatever. But still, I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating on the movie a little bit unfairly because George Romero didn't make it. That might be it, but still, I don't think it's very good either. I think it's objectively the worst one from 2002 that was picked, and I would never ever pick that one as an adjudicator for the show. But that's the 2002 movies. So.
Thank you.
Deep underground, in a top secret research lab, security has been breached. A deadly virus capable of contaminating the entire world has been released by Umbrella Corporation.
Oh my god.
We have to get out of this building. What was that? It's the brakes!
It's okay, we're here to help. Now, an elite team has been sent in to stop it.
5 hours ago, Red Queen went homicidal.
Who's the Red Queen?
State-of-the-art artificial intelligence.
The corporation's keeping a few secrets down here. Something you're not supposed to see.
But they have only 3 hours left before it begins infecting and mutating the whole human race.
Everyone stay calm.
What's that? She bit me, man. She took a chunk clean right out of me.
You have to get out.
Don't listen to anything she says. She's a holographic representation of the Red Queen.
She may be our only way out of here.
How is she still standing?
She isn't standing now.
No one is immune. Resident Evil.
You're all going to die down here.
Okay, we're going to have one run through 91, and this is Campfire Tales, obviously from 1991, not to be confused with the 1997 Campfire Tales. This stars Gunnar Hansen and nobody else I know. But essentially, this kind of like a Willy's kind of story in a way. We have these 3 kids out there hanging out at, this campfire, reading Fangoria, one with Texas Chainsaw Massacre on it, but it's from part 2, which is kind of weird. So so they're reading all these kind of magazines, Eerie and Fangoria, and Gunnar Hansen shows up, and he's this like crazy bum, and he's like, I just want to warm my hands by the fire, boys, and they're like, okay, whatever, and he's like, since you're letting me sit by the fire, I'm going to tell you these stories. So he tells all these stories. One is kind of a take on the, the making out hook on the hand thing, but instead of the killer being outside, they go home and their parents have been slaughtered. And then the next one is about some potheads that go pick up this bad weed. They get hooked on it, and it kind of makes them rot and turn gross and everything like that. Some good, fun, gooey effects. The next one, is a Christmas story, which is hilarious. Kind of reminds me of somebody being a piece of shit on Christmas and doing horrible acts, and then they get their comeuppance by like the anti-Santa Claus, maybe a Krampus type character, if you will. And then the fourth one is a weird, crazy pirate story. The acting is pretty terrible. Like, I think the best acted one is the Campfire one, probably because Gunnar Hansen, and the kids are okay. No complaints about the kids. But there's these moments where like the acting is so poor, especially in the Christmas one and the pirate one. And like, I wouldn't say by the main guy in the pirate one, but there's this scene in the pirate one where this character basically does an information dump for like 5-10 minutes. And I was just like this. I was watching it, and I literally didn't pick up anything he said, just because I was like, I just couldn't pay attention. Like, it was bad. It was just badly acted and just poor and boring and just fucking, it was high school musical like style acting, theater actor. He was like, yeah. And it's just like, ugh. screw this. I don't know what the hell's going on. But essentially in that one, a bunch of pirates come back to life and he fights them off with swords. And it does feel a little bit like Fulci-like, and I kind of enjoyed parts of that one too. Really, this one, it does have some fun moments. It's cheap. It's not very good. It's very poorly acted. But there's nice gooey gore effects. There's really stupid, goofy moments. And I kind of enjoyed it, although it was bad, if that makes any sense. It doesn't look very good. I don't have the DVD. I watched it online. The DVD's been out of print for years. I would probably buy one if it was released. But I watched this online and it didn't look very good. Like I said, I imagine it's not been remastered very well in the first place. These guys went on to do another anthology, I think, called Shriek Show, with Gunnar Hansen. And there's 2 Shriek Show anthologies. I've seen the other one, but I've never seen that one in the late 90s with Gunnar Hansen. But I don't know if I can give this one a strong recommend. The Hook story is the worst, and then the pirate one because it's so long and the opening of it's terrible. But the end's a really fun payoff where he's running through and like slashing and cutting up pirate zombies and everything, and they do have like a Fulci-esque look to them from Zombie, of course. You know what, that might be better. And then of course the Christmas one, the pirate one might be the best actually. The Christmas one's okay. It's kind of funny. And then the pothead one is gooey and gory and fun. But although the brother in that one is just complete moron. No one would ever smoke that weed after what he just witnessed. But cheesy anthology, it's what you expect. It is what it is. It's okay. I can't really recommend it, but I've seen much worse.
How about a story, guys?
Don't read one of those. I'm gonna be scared.
Jason, you are such a wimp. I like to be scared. Yeah, me too. Go ahead and read, Billy.
So you boys like to be scared. Well, as a reward for letting me sit here by your fire, I'll tell you some scary stories. Better than what you find in that book.
Chucky says there's 2 Santa Clauses, a good one and a bad one. It's true, look. My friend Tommy showed me this in school. If you mix up the letters in Santa Claus, you get Satan Claus. See, Tommy says that if you're bad, Satan Claus comes and puts coal in your stockings. If you're real naughty, he comes and cuts you up in a little pieces.
I curse you, pirate! I curse you, and Isla will see it carried out! Keep me here, black dog! I'll meet Darkman's head first and drive it back into the sea!
Alright, this is episode, what? This is Blindspot, I forgot to say.
Yeah, we're blind spotting.
I can't see nothing. Alright. Yeah, but this is Blindspot. This is Jeremy's pick, or is this? Yeah, this is your pick.
Yeah.
This is Fantastic Planet.
Forbidden Planet.
No, it's Fantastic Planet.
Fantastic
There actually is a Forbidden Planet and a Forbidden World, so keep it straight.
Okay.
This is Fantastic Planet. This is an animated movie from 1973. It's a French film. We watched the French version. Do you know the English version has voices with Barry Bostwick in it, which I wish I would have heard now?
Barry Bostwick is in Rocky Horror.
Yeah. He's not Janet, but
Brad.
Brad, yeah.
Brad Majors.
Brad and Janet, yeah. So, okay, yeah. Putting this in, this was like an hour and 20 minutes. I was like, that's perfect for an animated movie. And this is one of the most intriguing watches that I've had in a very long time. This is freaking nuts. Do you want to give the plot?
Is there a plot to this?
I mean, there is.
There is.
Basically, it takes place on a planet or a world that we're not familiar with, where humans are essentially tiny in comparison to another life form that is about 40 times the size of them, if not.
Yeah.
But,
We're like gerbil size.
Yeah, and this we're basically like wild animals, and they've tried to domesticate us and keep us as pets. But these beings are highly intelligent, and they have huge technology, and the whole world is very just dangerous and scary, weird place that is a nightmare landscape to us watching.
It's an actual hellscape.
Yeah,
it's like
horrifying.
Every time that a scene changes, it just cuts to some wild creature, like devouring another wild creature, and you're like...
And for no reason sometimes,
yeah.
and there's like this weird moment where like this pig thing's licking like a newborn baby and eats it. This kind of makes me gross, or like another creature just killing these other things for no reason.
It has like a bunch of like dead like butterfly, rabbit thing, I don't know what they are, like all around its cage. It's like, it doesn't do it, it just hits them and kills them. It doesn't eat them or anything.
And it laughs about it.
Yeah.
You know what would be an amazing double feature with this? The Point. Because The Point is like the good-natured, sweet version of it, like going on this like crazy adventure where you see all these weird things, and then you put Fantastic Planet and The Point together, and it's just like, show your kid The Point, and then show your kid Fantastic Planet, and then stay up all night with them, give them nightmares.
I think that The Point probably pairs well with this, but I think a better one, if you ever seen it, is the Felix the Cat movie.
What?
Yeah, because a lot of the creature design is similar to the things that they run into in the Felix the Cat movie. Just these weird tentacle mole creatures and just different things.
This movie says a lot of things in how they portray the big drogs or whatever they are, how they're working with the ohms. OMS is how they say it. Ohms.
Yeah, humans are ohms, and the
ohms
aliens
are drogs or something.
Drogs, yeah.
Ohms. So the ohm, in the very beginning, when you're a kid, you know how you like mess with insects. Some kids will like mess with ants or magnifying glass, or just pick bugs up and move them, or flick them, or do whatever, knock a fly away. It's these drogs messing with this little boy, this baby, and a mother, and they're just like picking the mother up and dropping her, and doing all sorts of horrible things in the very beginning, and it just shows you how cruel human beings can be, or higher life forms, to other things for no apparent reason. And then it goes on to show you that these things are actually intelligent, and how disgusting it's just a crazy fucking thing. And it says a lot about humanity and how you treat things that are below you.
Right, yeah. So the mother that gets killed, the main character
that's pretty much who we follow through the whole movie, and he has to live with like the intelligent life forms.
Yeah, and so the daughter of one, I think her name is Tara or something like that.
Tilwa,
Twyla, I can't remember.
Tiwi or something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, so she adopts the human child, and like it's like a pet. Like she she feeds it, plays with it. The father and mother are kind of like,
they're not really crazy about it. But these things have this weird kind of like, they're very powerful and strong and intelligent, but they meditate and do all sorts of other things. But that lies the secret of their weakness. And the humans are pretty much helpless at first until the main character decides to run. And he had been listening in on the, the educational stuff that the daughter was, and this device that they put around her. He ends up stealing that and bringing it to like a tribe or a group of them. And they all start to learn things. And eventually they learn their technology. And that's when the humans kind of stand an uprising. But there's these really crazy moments where like there's these exterminations of like the ohms from the things, and that is horrifying. And the movie does these beautiful, like, I guess you'd say wide shots in a cartoon. I don't know, it's technically a wide shot. They'll go out really far and have these like landscape shots of the people are like this big on the screen, and you can do that with a cartoon. You know, your scope, you can make your scope as big as you want, which is really imaginative and cool about a cartoon. So for nightmare stuff, it's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, that's why it's weird that cartoons have been associated directly, because they're so imaginative with children's stuff, but you could really do lots of things that mess with people in a cartoon.
I have always preferred animation over live action. I mean, that's just how I'm wired, I think.
It's a lot of hard work.
So the main character, he runs off, and he joins a group of, like, wild ohms. Yeah. So he's, like, the domesticated one. The wild ones are like, oh, you're been with the drugs, you shouldn't be here. And it's like, I have knowledge. And essentially what they learn is that, like, the drugs are going to exterminate the whole park where the wild ohms live because they, like, tear up resources and they're dirty.
Which goes back to Planet of the Apes. Last time went to tear up all the crops and everything like that. We're just not very well liked or well appreciated in the sci-fi world, are we?
No.
But there's this great moment where the ohms decide to fight back, and they actually, like, physically kill one of the drugs. And I did not see that coming. No. And the way it happens was just, I was like, yes. Fuck you. I hated them. Like, don't you hate the drogs throughout the movie?
Oh, yeah, they're just
so... They're pretentious douchebags, dude. They think they're so superior. And do you think, like, ants and everything are just saying us? Like you asshole. Well, for some reason, ants don't have that, like, ability to learn or anything like that.
They don't have thumbs.
That's the apes. That's why the apes haven't killed us yet. Because they don't have thumbs. They don't have the mandible. They can't. They don't have that bend in it.
Isn't this the mandible?
Yeah, you're right. They don't have the, what is the bend in the thumb where you can actually bend it? Anatomy.
I don't know what you're...
I'm stupid. A mandible is your jawline, yeah. But there's a, it's like that. I can't think of it right now. Don't ask me about anything else but weird movies, okay? Because I won't know the answer. But I was very happy with this movie.
I thought it was fantastic.
What were you going to say?
It had the animation of, like, it reminded me of, like, some of the Monty Python stuff where it's more moving illustration rather than, like, traditional cell animation. There is an awesome scene where it's, like, mole bat, like, infiltrates their nest, and, like, it's horrific because it has, like, this, like, tongue, and it's like...
almost like a, anteater.
Like an anteater, and then, like, the ohms are trying to kill it because it's just swallowing people, left and right, and then they...
The human beings are super adaptable in this, too.
Right, and what it shows is like their strength really is working together.
Yeah. And that they can adapt. Survival of the fittest
tools.
Well, that's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
But still, in that term, they're just very good at adapting and surviving, and they're like a lot of ways like rats.
Right.
We're kind of like rats.
And then essentially what happens is like they try to build a rocket ship to leave the planet to go to it.
Should we spoil any more of it, or do you think these like blind spots we kind of talk more in general because most people have seen them that wanted to?
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody's seen this one, so maybe we should hold
It's
off.
Criterion, so I'm sure many people have seen it.
Have you seen it?
Who's you?
Like the audience in general watching. I don't know.
Why would you ask? There's multiple people.
Maybe they'll write a message if they've seen it or not. I don't read.
We already got a question of the week. We don't need another one.
Okay, yeah. So we won't go into how this one gets resolved because it is really good.
But it also shows that we must eventually live together or some sort of duplicity together. I guess not duplicity, but sort of domesticated thing together. I don't know. I thought it was pretty great. You know what I meant. No. They come to a terms of agreement at the end of the movie. Yeah.
Duality.
Duplicity.
Yes.
Duplicity.
Yeah. They do realize that they are better if their societies are equal but also kind of separate.
Well, they never really show exactly what happens, but the drogs kind of have been like, oh crap, because they are at a huge disadvantage again.
Oh, and it has that same thing with the Planet of the Apes, like maybe the humans are intelligent and we're just not understanding their intelligence.
But Planet of the Apes also tells you that humans are very violent and probably should have been eradicated. We're better off without them at the end. But the apes are also stupid because they didn't believe it.
I mean, yeah, but then also when you look at this one, it's like, how did they, come to accept the humans? Oh, they were violent as hell.
Well, it's crazy to think that,
Yeah.
sometimes. But I'm going to read from this book right here, Creature Features. It's not in the tear on tape. It's more sci-fi than horror. Fantastic Planet, 1973, 4 out of 5. Imagine a world in which humanoids are only inches high and treated like frivolous pets or domestics. Such a world is Yagam, where the masters are the 40-foot tall drogs, and we Earth beings are Winner of the Grand Prix, I always want to say Grand Prix, even though it's Grand Prix at Cannes. This French animated film is the work of artist Roland Topar and director René Lareau. The parable aspects are fascinating, for they tap into the roots of human existence. Also impressive are the organic drawing styles and oddball flora and fauna of the planet. The plot involves occasional exterminations of the Ohms and the outlaws band's attempt to escape to Fantastic Planet, a satellite world where the drogs go to meditate. A fascinating sci-fi fable. Voices for the U.S. version: Marvin Miller, Barry Boswick, Jane Waldo, a.k.a. The Savage Planet. And you know what? I'm not far off from that. They gave it, an 8 out of 10 or something, 4 out of 5. I'm going to go 9 out of 10. I think it's pretty damn perfect for a first-time watch.
I go 3.5 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I would.
You didn't like it that much?
I liked it. I just didn't love it.
I loved it. As you could tell, I was infatuated with it. A lot of times I watch a lot of movies that are hard to watch or weird or just not the most engaging for me or easy to get into. They're movies that you got to put a lot for. This one, I was just immediately sucked into it. Like, I was just like...
Maybe I would give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's fucking fantastic.
When I compare it to Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, but you gave Planet of the Apes a 10 out of 10.
I know, I gave it a 5 out of 5.
If you did make it go to a 10-point scale, would you make it 9.5 or 10?
Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
An 11. Maybe it should be a 4. Because it was good. I don't think that you're going to find anything else
quite like this.
It.
Yeah. Before I forget, next week I had to make a switch because they're covering a show on 22 Shots, which I'm going to be on, and I don't want to double watch. I want it the first time to watch for this, so it's going to be Qui-Gon, which I was way in advance in a blind spot for me, but I'm switching my last broadcast. So if you're following the letterbox little thing, it's going to be mixed up. So I'll be doing Qui-Gon. Is it Qui-Gon? I think it's something like the Japanese anthology movie instead of the last broadcast. I'll be pushing that one back. So that's next week.
Next week?
Yep.
Is that a vampire?
No, you're thinking of the Thirst, which is one we're doing too. This one is a very famous movie. Criterion put it out, so we'll have 2 Criterions back to back.
Okay.
So
what's my next pick? Do you know?
Nope. We'll have to see next week.
I think that my picks are the better picks.
I don't think so. I don't know yet. Maybe. Well, we'll see.
Planet of the Apes is technically my pick, just so you guys know.
No, Planet of the Apes is my pick.
Because I was like, put Planet of the Apes on your list if you've never seen it, because that's a good one.
No,
I'm going to watch Slaughter Vomit.
I never said that I hate that movie. I could never watch those again. Like, back in the day, I watched them, I had a different, I was approaching them a certain way, and then the more I thought about it, the more I heard about it, I was just like, no, never again, never, ever, ever, ever again. But what are the So we had the first one. We had the comparison. What was the first movies? Carrie vs. Magic. You won that.
Yeah.
Then what was the next one? I don't remember.
It was Dr. X and
Eyes Without a Face. I won that one.
Technically.
And then was this the third one? Would have been after what was Eyes Without a Face?
It was the Day the Earth Stood Still.
And Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes is my pick. I won that one. And then this one was Fantastic Planet's gonna be versus Qui-Gon, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, so we'll see. I have a feeling that I don't know. That's gonna be close. I'm beating you 2-1 right now.
No, Planet of the Apes is technically my pick.
It's not your pick. Planet of the Apes.
And Planet of the Apes should be paired, I think, with Logan's Run.
Doesn't matter. Guess what? I won.
You don't win.
2 versus 1.
No.
My picks were better.
You picked Magic. That's technically like 2 losses.
No, it's not. Magic's a good movie. You had Carrie. Come on. 2 versus 1. All right, so I'm in the lead right now. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Francois proclaims, a French planet shines in the sky of the Cannes Festival. The Rope says the film cast a spell on us from the first image to the last. Le Monde, humor, fantasy, poetry. An exciting film. Strange, frightening, fascinating. Marvelous, poetic. The imagination runs wild. A great success at Cannes. The beautiful story we've long awaited. A fantastic animated French film. An event and a complete success. A French masterpiece. Fantastic Planet. Winner of the Special Grand Prix Cannes Film Festival. Special Jury Prize, Trieste Film Festival. Gold Medal, Atlanta. First Prize, Tehran. The world press acclaims Fantastic Planet.
All right, let's get into these questions. Tim Hayes, did you get a suntan? You're starting to look tan again. I noticed when you wear the striped tank top during your Hammer reviews, you don't have the tan complexion. It is summer. I run outside, so I get tan. I just naturally get tan in the summer, probably because I'm from Point Place, and everybody in Point Place looks like a hot dog. Okay, so we have Adam Watson. Wow, man, you must have some major storage somewhere, is all I can say. You still act, or are you on a break for the time being? I'm kind of on a break. I mean, if one of my friends or somebody asks me to do something, I will do it, but I don't go out and seek it. I never really seeked any jobs. If it was my friend putting up something, I'd say, hey, man, I'd like to try out, or if you want me, let me know. But I will for friends. But right now, I'm not really seeking out any work. So, I mean, I don't really do it to get paid, but I'll work for friends and for money. But, I'm not really looking right now. I do enjoy it, but, it's just a lot of other things are happening. Nick Mua, I know one-liners are considered low humor. Still, there are some I really dig, like, you got the body, I've got the brain. What are some of your favorites? Any freaking Arnold one-liners crack me up. Sub-Zero, now just plain Zero. Kills me. Running Man, just love that. Total Recall, Stick Around. So the Arnold one-liners... any action one-liners actually crack me up. Even when I think Stallone, keep your arms and legs inside the vehicle at all times, shithead, in a cliffhanger. I like one-liners in action movies. Now, horror movie one-liners, Bruce Campbell's got lots of good ones, Give Me Some Sugar, Baby, all that kind of stuff. So there's tons of good one-liners. The Thing, you gotta be fucking kidding me, like stuff like that. I mean, but maybe you're thinking of like So Fuck You Too when he throws this. I don't know. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the one-liner king. Am I wrong about that? So then we have Charles Bronson too, man. I love his one-liners in the Death Wish 2 sequels where he's like, "Do you believe in Jesus?" He's like, "Good, because you're going to meet him." Stuff like that. I love that. Please name a film that at its core is good, but untimely fails to deliver so much that it makes you sad, mad, or both. For me, it's the recent It Chapter 2. It both took too long in some places and too short in others, and there are way too many boo, aren't clowns, creepy scenes. Ooh, that's such a good question. I wish I would have researched it. Movies that I think are good but just didn't deliver. The Void was the first time watch for me. Like, I loved the special effects, and it just missed a point for me where I couldn't follow something, and it just kind of like, it's like, man, this movie, I know I'll love it if there's just one more thing there. And I know I like The Void. I thought it was going to be the best movie of the year, to be honest. but it missed a certain point for me. And I know if I rewatch it, I'll probably find it. So that's a little bit different of an answer, but I'll go with that one. If you were cast as a creepy clown, what would you look like? Whatever they were going to want me to look like. But I probably wouldn't want to play a creepy clown, to be honest. I just, Adam Watson, did you like The Lost? The movie? I just reviewed it. Yeah, love it. Travis Wright, does it bother you when a DVD or Blu-ray doesn't have subtitles? It's the worst. I hate it because, sometimes like their sound mixing on old movies won't be perfect, or a company won't sound mix it very well, or somebody will talk really quiet. So or you'll mishear something. There's a lot of things going on. So I like the subtitles on all the time. Plus I have tinnitus in my left ear. So it's always ringing. It drives me nuts. And I play the movies really loud, and I always like subtitles no matter what, because sometimes it's surround sound. You'll hear more action things like explosions over dialogue, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes the mixes aren't even or whatever. But I get annoyed when there's no subtitles, to be honest. And then we have some answers. Basically, I asked you guys what was your favorite release of the year and what companies are doing the best so far this year. Nick Mua, as I like the books of Jack Ketchum and some of their big screen adaptations, I'm picking Arrow's release of The Woman and Offspring as my favorite 2020 home video releases. Both films look and sound great and offer a treasure trove of extra features. So David, will come as no surprise when I name Arrow Video as my favorite genre distributor for the turbulent year. They've released Clive Barker's Nightbreed with all the features from the out-of-print American 3-disc collector's edition, the recent Chiller I See You, which I recommend, and I hope they keep it up. Let's go. Lee Jones, Hollywood 90028, if it happens this year. Jason Koch, so far the Forgotten Giallo set from Vinegar Syndrome. Sam Edwards, Severn or Vinegar Syndrome are my top for the year, although Scream Factory just killed it again this year. As far as my favorite Blu-ray release, so far the Lindsay box set coming from Severn. My favorite that I currently have in my possession, probably Strange Vice and Mrs. Ward, also from Severn. Timothy Tahoe Collin, Hope, the deluxe version of Soylent Green 2020. Corey Moore, Beyond the Door Arrow. Bobby Jose, Vinegar Syndrome, Severn, and I Love on Earth films. And a fave Blu-ray release, I have to say, Dolly Dearest. If the Granny would have been a surprise Blu-ray release, then the Granny would have been my favorite Blu-ray for the next 5 years or so. Dolly Dearest is awesome, though. Peter McCain, haven't been able to buy much, but what's his name? Tusamato, set from Third Windows, is pretty decent. Arrow also did one, I think. Tom Horsball, Night Tide, set from Indicator, is my favorite release. Chris Leopard, it's been a few, but the main one is Alejandro Jodorowsky box set from Arrow, and it's finally coming out. Arrow has had the best releases with this. Whitefire and a few others. Criterion, Shout Select, and Vinegar all have had great films. Aside from 2020 being a dumpster fire, the home releases have been amazing. Robert D. I've loved the Cadwan set from the... I always have trouble... Qui-Gon, set from Eureka Masters of Cinema. They're putting some really good stuff out at the minute with Zoo Warriors, Der Golem, Mr. Vampire, and some cool spaghetti westerns. Also got the Bela Lugosi set to come. They're putting out Mr. Vampire. I'm going to have to buy that. Peter Engelland, Robert D., The Man Who Laughs. Shajin Barbarian. They have not been released yet, but I am most excited about the upcoming Untold Story released by Unearthed Films and the Men Behind the Sun released by Massacre Video. But the release I enjoyed the most is a Slumber Party Massacre released by Scream Factory. It came with a poster and a NECA figure of the killer. Oh man, Massacre, fucking putting Men Behind the Sun out and Untold Story is great. Derek B. So far the Forgotten Giallo box set from Vinegar Syndrome. It will be that until Gamera comes out. David Luton, not bought any special features so far this year, but the Second Sight Special Edition Dawn of the Dead, which I pre-ordered in the autumn, sounds brilliant. Alex Powers, I would say the Second Sight Dawn of the Dead 4K box set, and I'd say Arrow has had the best releases so far. Their Gamera box set for Flash Gordon 4K, and some other good ones too. Peter Engelland, Night Tide Limited Edition box, and Phase 4 Limited Edition by 101 Films. Peter Engelland, or was Night Tide 2019. Brandon Motley, Rad, Vinegar Syndrome. Travis Wright, Arrow's release of Beyond the Door might be my favorite of the year. I'm looking forward to their release of Flash Gordon and the Gamera box set. They might be my favorite label so far this year. David Gibson, it might not be the best, but I love the Scorpion transfer on Gates of Hell. It's a top-level transfer in my opinion. The film looks amazing. Old answers, and then we basically have movies that I said that came out in 2020 that were good. If I missed any, Travis Wright says Guns Akimbo was fun. IMDb listed as 2019, but I think it was widely released, and the home video release was only a month ago or so. I didn't expect to like The Invisible Man, but it was really good. And then some information, basically, people posted things that I think are worth sharing. Bill Clay, I watched an old film last night, Final Jeopardy, and realized it was from 1985. It's a fun movie. And he basically lists it. I've not heard of it. He says, if you're interested in watching, I don't think you'll find it anywhere else. He posted a link for it. I'm not sure if I've never seen it or heard of it. So Thanos 43 Infinity. As with all media lately, the movie Becky was made tick boxes and create even more division. It must be really hard for scriptwriters nowadays who just want to give escapism and entertainment instead of giving a studio-mandated clipboard with tick boxes for current events. Chris Stuckman whistle blew this blatant industry ideology when he was told to add those very things to his own script. Now, I mean, I don't know if it's divisive. I mean, like, nobody likes neo-Nazis, right? But I see what you mean, though. Like, a lot of movies will be like, well, we want to... I do like strong female leads in my movies, but if you're saying you think it's forced, like, they're like, that's a checkbox, put a strong female lead in there, have neo-Nazis as the bad guys, you know. Like, you're right, it just has a lot of current event things going on with it. But, like I said, the movie just seemed very mediocre to me. It wasn't horrible, but it was very by the numbers. So maybe that's what we're kind of on the same page. It's just very by the numbers studio picture, which is not anything really wrong with it, but, you know, it's not anything that I'm going to revisit. What the flick? That was an excellent Bill Paxton impersonation. Also, I'm going to make a drinking game. Every time Jeremy messes with his hair, I will take a drink. I don't drink alcohol or pop, so it's kind of a lame game, but I will definitely be hydrated. That's what we got to stay hydrated. I mean, you know, you got to stay hydrated. I have problems with my hair too. I need a haircut so bad. Actually, when I was jogging today, I shouldn't bring this story up, but I was jogging, right? And I come to a busy road, and there's cars, and I want to cross, so I got to wait for a second. So I decide to, like, kind of go around the corner and run down this way. But there's this guy who always stands in his driveway who's kind of like a crazy guy. He's always working on shit, just standing out in his driveway. And I don't really have any interactions with him because he's around my house, but he just kind of looks like a miserable asshole. So, like, I come to the end of his driveway, and I'm not going to run through his yard, right? So I'm kind of, like, jogging on the curb. Like, and he's like, you can't come in this yard with that long hair. And I'm just like, yep. Just, like, how do you respond to that? Like, it's like, he's half joking, half being a douchebag, and it's like, I kind of want to punch you in the jaw right now, but at the same time, like, I'm probably overreacting, and you're just being old guy funny, but it's just like, it's not funny, so I'm just like, yep. Just kept jogging. But, yeah, it's just like, I'm not going to run through the dude's driveway, but still, it's just like, dude, get over yourself, you D-bag. It's like, not like many people are getting haircuts anyways right now. It's not on my priority list. But, yeah, I guess we're going to hop into the update. Here we go. We got Electric Glide in blue, which this is a Shout Factory. It's going out of print. Not seen this one. Didn't know much about it. Good price on it. Looks like a cool kind of... style 70s action movie, so I figured why the hell not. Looks good. Good price on it. Then we have a double feature here, Grey Eagle and, what is it, Winterhawk. So, I think Ben Johnson's in one of these movies. It kind of interested me. And they're both Charles B. Pierce, so why not? Then we have sorry about that. We have a one that I hear good things about, Brazilian Western, another one that was going out of print. I like my Western, so why not? And then we have some from the Target sale. Picked up Kalfornia. Never seen this one. I know Brad Pitt, Julianne Lewis, David Duchovny. It always looked like it would be interesting to me, so I figured I'm going to grab it. I like these kind of movies like this, Natural Born Killers. Then we have G.I. Joe, the cartoon movie. I have not seen this in a long time. Always liked this as a kid, so I figured, why the hell not? We all go home or nobody goes home. Sergeant Slaughter for the win, right? Yeah, but there's lots of lines I remember from this one. Save me bones for Davy Jones. Then we have Midnight Run. Hear only good things about this one. Of course, Robert De Niro, Charles Grodin. Should be pretty entertaining. Of course, I know it's a popular movie. Then here we have Suburbia, Penelope Spheris movie. That cover's awful. Look how stupid that is. Awful to me. Not trying to be a jerk, but I think I had the DVD here of this a long time ago. Never got a chance to watch it. Really like her Boys Next Door movie, so check this one out as well. Then we have Saturday the 14th, another horror parody. Now, I can't remember if I've actually seen this one or not. But I don't know why I buy all these horror parodies, but I always end up doing it. So, and then we have This Island Earth. The alien from this one is super memorable. There he is in the cover. Never seen this one, but the alien has always stuck out to me, and I've always remembered him. So, yeah. Then we have the remaster of Ninja 3, The Domination, the 4K one. There's a good price on this. Also, I think this one's going out of print, so why not? Only a ninja can kill a ninja. That's right. Then we have Darkman 3, Darkman Die. Good price on it. I never liked Darkman 3, but I have 1 and 2, and I love 1, so I was like, you know what, I'm willing to give 3 a chance. Although, I used to love 2, and I put in 2 recently, and I was like, nope, I don't think I'm going to make it through this one. Invasion of the Bee Girls. I don't think I've ever seen this one. Looks fun. Good price on it. Another Scream Factory. Looks very fun to me. Then we have The Projected Man. Born a man, turned into a living laser beam by science's most gruesome experiment. It's like the Marvel character. Wasn't there a guy called the Living Laser? And then we have Amanda Macabro. Got Projected Man in this from Hamilton Book Sale. Night Has 1,000 Desires. Jess Franco. Good price on it. Gotta love Mondo Macabro. That lady, who's that lady? She was married to her. I can't remember her name. It's Linda Romay, of course. So then we have Junk Bonds, The Return of Junk Bucket. Also includes the original Junk Bucket. I've actually seen these movies. These are nonsense, but I remember laughing at them. There's this really weird guy in this one. I think he's like, I'll just be the guy who got his dick chopped off and then got attached. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. That's the same movie. It's such a goofy movie. Then we have Supercock from Garage House Pictures. Whoever said size doesn't count was a real dick. I've never seen this one. It's a cockfighter movie. I have seen the Cockfighter with Warren Oates, but I've never seen this one. And then we have some John Wayne. We have McHugh. Never seen this one. I have seen Brannigan, which I really enjoy, so hopefully McHugh is just as good. You know, the Duke doing his best Dirty Harry. Then we have Batteries Not Included. I haven't seen this as a kid. This one always looks fun to me. I'd like to rewatch this one. And then we have the original Cape Fear, which I actually already had on Blu-ray. I'm getting old. I'm starting to slip. I used to never do this. Now I'm like rebuying movies I have on Blu-ray, which is not good. And then we have the remake of Cape Fear with Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange, and Juliette Lewis is in this one as well. This movie is pretty good. Never seen the original Cape Fear, but I really like this one. De Niro's performance is great in here, man. It's Martin Scorsese, of course. Then we have some DVDs. From Asia with Lust, from Trauma, Volume 1, double feature, Camp, and Hitchhike. I just read the tagline on there. So, yeah. A new Japanese rape revenge saga. I don't know how these are, but hey, whatever. They were cheap. It was the right price. Then we have From Asia with Lust, Volume 2, double feature. We have Lipstick and Weekend. Not to be confused with the other Lipstick. So, yep. And I guess we're going to hop back to the video. Okay, before we get out of here, I want to give a Patreon shout out to Tristan Collier. Thank you very much for your support. But as always, thank you guys very much for watching.